guys, today I'm filming a full face of products I never reached for. I wanted to do this back in January, but just kind of ran out of time. This video is completely inspired by Thataylaa. She did it last year, and I thought it was such a great way to maybe discover some products that collect dust in my collection, maybe ones I've forgotten about, maybe I will find some hidden treasures. If you are excited for this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let's get into it. I'm gonna start by putting my hair back, not like that. So I have two concealers I could potentially use today. I have this from Mercier, and I have been reaching for it a little bit more because it's not cruelty free and I am panning it. But this is a Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Concealer, and I'll probably use this one on my lid. I also have this from BH, the Studio Pro. I'll use this one underneath my eyes, or I'll mix like the two of them together. Okay, so now that my lids are primed, I have two palettes to use. So I have this from Geode. This is the upside down. This is the Essential Matte and Shimmer palette, and this is what it looks like. It's fairly neutral. I got this 2 years ago, and I haven't reached for it in about a year, so it's been quite some time. But I didn't really want to do just a neutral look today. You guys are going to be so surprised. I am going to do like a silvery kind of look, more cool toned, and I think I am going to do blue. I hate the color blue. I've said that before in videos. I don't like it in my makeup. I don't like it in my home decor. I don't like it in what I'm wearing. Do not like the color blue. You may occasionally see me do like a turquoise kind of liner, but as for like true blue, like royal blue, not a fan. So I thought of this palette, and this is the Kat Von D Saint and Sinner. I was so excited for this when it came out, also 2 years ago. My husband picked it up for me, and it was such a nice gift. But it just kind of got lost in the rest of my collection. A lot of people had like gripes about this palette because it's kind of difficult to use because it's all over the place. Some of the shades in here get a little bit more love. You can see I actually have used the turquoise shade in here, but this Devil shade and then also Martyr I have used a ton, or I did when I was previously using it. But it has been some time, so I think what I'll be using today is this one right here, which is called Ministry. So we're gonna have some fun. Gonna do something that I wouldn't normally do. I'm very proud of myself, so we'll see how it turns out. And before I do that, I actually forgot. I had gotten my Influencer Vox Box. If you're not familiar what that is, it's not necessarily PR. Anybody can sign up for it and you can get different products to review, and I got something from Coola. So from Coola, this is the Mineral Sun Silk Cream. It's an SPF of 30. I want to say it retailed for $42. I did look it up. I'll correct it here if I'm wrong. But it's a full 360 spectrum, protects from UVA, UVB, IR, infrared, I guess that's what it is, and HEV protection. And then on the back, I was reading a little bit about this. This also protects from blue light. That's what is emitted from our technology devices like phones and iPads and whatnot, because apparently that can also cause damage. So I'm looking forward to trying this. It seems like it has a lot of good ingredients in it. It's cruelty free, and I really like Coola sunscreen in general. So let's give it a whirl, and I figure I'll try it first. That way it has some time to set in before we actually go in with the rest of my makeup. It is $42. I looked it up real quick while I was struggling to open this. There is some very sticky tape on the bottom of it, but this is what it looks like out of that sleeve. It's a nice size. It is 1.5 fluid ounces. Curious to see if it will have any kind of scent. All right, not too much. No scent. Already I can tell a difference because there is no white cast. Need a little bit more. This does feel really good. It's very light, like it doesn't feel sticky. I can't believe there's no white cast. So that's really cool. I will definitely be reaching for that more. Feels really good. It actually kind of feels like nothing on my skin. So if you don't like the texture of sunscreen or the smell, I think this could be a winner. I will be playing with that a little bit more, make sure it doesn't like cause irritation or breakouts, but for right now it feels really good on my skin. So let's get into the eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm realizing there's not a lot of cool tone stuff in here. Maybe I was wrong with this choice. Maybe I'll use the black a little bit at some point and There's like a light baby pink. I could probably use that as just like a base shade, so I think that's what I'll do. This looks more nude than pink. Maybe I was wrong. What do I have underneath my eye? I don't know why I remembered this being more cool tone than it is. I think I have another palette that has a silver in it that I want to use. This is the Naked 2 from Urban Decay. I also never reached for this. I did at one point in time, but never anymore. It's probably been a year again. This has a ton of silver in it, so I think I'm going to use this like pistol-y shade at some point, and Verve maybe, depending on how pigmented that is or how much comes off. I'll probably dip in with that Verve first and then play around with the pistol and just go back and forth. I actually don't love this formula. This is the reason why I don't reach for it, but maybe I will change my mind today. I am super excited though because Urban Decay is doing a Game of Thrones collection. I'm gonna need all of that. I cannot wait for some teasers. I'm just laying down like the initial shape that I want. I'm gonna blend that into that base shade. So I have a pretty funny story with Coola. I am a big fan of their products, but they have a mango one that we had gotten for our honeymoon and it smells delicious. If you don't like bees, you're not gonna like this story because it is terrifying. So we went to Punta Cana for our honeymoon, and the first day was cool because it was like kind of overcast and we didn't have any issues. But the next day, we were there for 4 days. The next day we went to a buffet and there were just bees all over the place while we were waiting to get in. And of course we used our sunscreen every day because it's hot and the sun is very strong there. So we go to this buffet and we're waiting outside, and I think a bee landed on my shirt or my arm. Didn't like that. Already freaked me out, but I got over it. I mean, I know bees do good things, but I don't really want them near me. I don't necessarily think I have a fear of bees, but I have like an irrational fear of them like getting into my clothes or like my eyes or anything like that. I think it's understandable. I mean, they do sting. I'm gonna dip into that darker shade now. So we ate at the buffet, and then I guess probably it was the pool next. I don't know. Bees were everywhere. They were all over us, and it took us a couple days to realize that it was probably our sunscreen. And we would have bought a different sunscreen. They had a little shop there, but it was like $40 for sunscreen, of course. So it was super expensive. So we were like, okay, we'll just deal with it. And we go to the pool. I think it was the next day. We go to the pool and everyone's like hanging out and chilling out and they're all having a good time. And we try to go in this canopy and they are just swarming like all over the place. They're like in the roof of the canopy, like cannot relax. And we tried moving. They followed us. It was definitely the sunscreen. But then the worst thing that happened, I got in the pool and literally it was like a minute. And you know, you hear them coming, which is like the worst, the sound of it. You hear them coming. This bee, I had sunglasses on, landed right here. And I flipped the fuck out. I flipped out. And I did probably what I shouldn't have done, and I screamed and I went underneath the water. The people next to us were probably like, what the hell is going on with her? I was so scared to get back in the pool after that. And I know it may be an irrational fear, but just the thought of like having that little bee go into my sunglasses, or sting me in the eye on my honeymoon, that was a big thing. I'm like, I don't want this to happen on our honeymoon. Get all swollen up and crazy looking. But yeah, it was really scary. Not a fan. And we dealt with them the whole rest of the trip. I would try to sit out on the balcony and read, and they would end up there. It was not a relaxing time. This could be a mistake, but I'm going to go in with the black next. It's called Blackout from the Naked 2. I'm going pretty light and building it up. I want to get a little bit of like a wingy kind of shape. And I know this shape looks kind of crazy, but I am going to be cleaning it up. But first I'm going to blend all the shades together. I definitely wanted this look to be a little bit more matte, but these are the silvers I had. And just cleaning up the line with a makeup wipe. I did a video about assumptions about me, and it was assumed that my favorite part of my makeup was my eyeshadow, and while it is, this is definitely my other favorite part. It's like the biggest cheat, but I just love seeing that crisp line. You could get it with concealer, but that takes more effort. I don't know, I kind of like this. Why don't I ever reach for this palette? It is the only naked palette I own. There's others I want. I know they're like such like a cult favorite, but that's actually the only one I own. And probably because this one wasn't my favorite, probably why I haven't bought the rest. But I think Heat is the other one I want. That's what I have on my wish list. I'm gonna go in with this concealer now, I think. No, I'm gonna do the other one. I'm gonna do the one I'm panning just to use it up a little bit more. I'm gonna use this to cut my crease before we go in with that bright blue shade. And then in with the shade Ministry. I don't think I have to use this wet. I think it'll be fine as is. Change of plans, I think I do want to use it wet. I'm going to use some MAC Fix Plus just because I am also panning that. Yeah, that makes a big difference. So weird seeing this on my eye. Before I do any kind of blending or anything like that, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other eye off of camera. And now because it's what is in front of me, I'm going to use Sabbath from Saint and Sinner, which is just a matte black, to blend that together with the blue. And just for a little bit of dimension, I'm going to take this shade Heaven, and I'm going to put it on the center of my lid. Again, I'm going to try it just dry first on my fingertip. All right, I'm going to finish the rest of that off later on, like the under eye, and I am going to move on to my base. So for primer, I have this from Colourpop. This is the All-Star Primer, and I think I used this once or twice. I really only used this during the video I did trying Colourpop for the first time. It has the consistency of glue, but it does smell like creamsicle, so that is an advantage, unless you don't like scents. And I don't really remember having any thoughts about this. I think I was just trying so many new products at that time that it's hard to formulate an opinion because I hadn't used it before. So my foundation could go very wrong. I have something from Mercier, again, something I'm panning because it's not cruelty free, and I didn't reach for it to begin with. I really, really loved the Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Foundation, not the concealer, the foundation. I really did like that formula until I had to get rid of it. Now I have the Silk Cream Moisturizing Photo Edition in my hand. This one is definitely more moisturizing, but it doesn't wear very well on my skin. It is what I wore on my wedding day, and I remember even then thinking that it kind of just slid off my face, and it's a little light for me. So I'm gonna mix it with this from Buxom, maybe, if it doesn't smell horrible. I've had this for a very long time. This is called Dim Light, and it is the Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation. I don't know when they stopped carrying it, but they don't have it anymore, so we'll see how that combo does. And I also have this from Urban Decay. This is the Velvetizer. I really bought this for the packaging and the name because it just sounded so nice to have velvety skin. It's a really finely milled powder that you can mix with your foundation to make it look more seamless or airbrushed, or you can use it as setting powder, so I might do that interchangeably today with this one. That's what it looks like, in case you guys are curious. Let's just try the foundation just to mix that up first. I'm gonna use just like a dot of this one. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna mix in the Velvetizer. Kind of scared about this. It could ruin everything. But the Velvetizer is just like an extra step that I completely forget about. I don't think about it. I don't remember disliking it as a setting powder either. I just don't use it. It smells like paint. Like faintly, but it definitely smells like paint. Just realized I didn't mix enough, and if I have to mix more, that could be a horrible, horrible thing. So the bangs don't stick straight up like they usually do. So I actually think I had enough. I didn't have to mix anymore. Missed a little bit of my chin. Okay, my hands are a mess. I'm gonna do concealer next, and like I said, I'm gonna try the BH one. I remember that color maybe being a little bit off. I forgot about this. Look how dirty that is. I'm gross. So what I do remember liking is that it squeezes out like that. You could also probably just squeeze it right on. I'm not gonna do that though. I have a little palette here that I'm using, and it's actually so funny. People buy the most expensive like little palette mixers. This was a top to a canister that I hold all my brushes in. It lives right over there. I think eventually I am gonna do like a vanity tour or like collection tour. I just haven't done it yet. It's definitely yellow. It's already creasing under my eye. I really don't like the look of that. It actually looks like I have worse bags under my eyes. My bags aren't really that bad. Not a fan. I am gonna set it though with the Velvetizer just to use this up and see how it does. I do not think my skin looks good right now. I feel like you can see all the texture. I'm gonna have to do a lot of blending underneath the eyes to make all of those little wrinkles go away. That does not look good at all. Okay, for brow options, I have a couple things. I have this from Kat Von D. These launched last year. These are the signature brow pencils. She came out with a few different brow products. I also have one of her pomades that is purple, and I don't think I could pull that off today, so I'm gonna use this. I never reach for it. I don't really love eyebrow pencils. I thought I would use this like with another pomade. And if I hate the way this looks, I will probably reach for my Milk Kush Fiber Brow Gel because I love it so much. What color is this? Medium brown. Sorry if I don't talk a lot during this portion. I really can't talk and do my brows at the same time. I've tried and I always make mistakes. Feels so draggy. I think it looks fine. Not the best, not horrible. It's fine. I'm gonna top it with this. This is from Beautonique, the Fill and Tame Brow Gel. This is just a sample I've had lying around. I have used it once or twice. Okay, as far as this goes, this is still drying a little bit, but I went to go fix something on the other brow and it is set. It is like glue, not going anywhere. Still don't really like the way my face looks, but we are going to move on. And then for the under eye, I'll just kind of repeat what I did on the top. I'm just dragging some of the silver out below that wing shape. I just like the way that looks. My under eyes look terrible, like worse than they've looked in a while. This is what I'm going to use for my bronzer. This is the Tarte Pro Glow palette. I got this from my first FabFitFun. And yeah, I've tried it once or twice. I think I accidentally gouged my finger into that one. That's a cream bronzer. And then there's also a powder bronzer. So I'm going to go in with this one. I kind of remember it being too dark for me, or maybe it not blending well. So I'm going to use a very light hand for that one. There's like yellow patchiness going on. I'm not a fan of any of this. I'm just slowly building this up so that I don't put too much on. Not that it's gonna really help this face. I actually like the color. I remember not liking it, but I do like it. And for my blush, I have this from Too Faced. I don't have a ton of blushes in my collection that I don't reach for. I absolutely love blush, and I do really try to rotate them with the exception of when I got the Hourglass palette, because I was using that for like a month straight. But this one has kind of got lost in the mix. So this is the Love Flush and How Deep Is Your Love. It's a really pretty bright coral, and I don't know how well it's gonna go with this look, but I'm going to use just the littlest bit, and I'm gonna keep it back here just to keep, I don't know, it's just the vision I have. I just don't want too much warmth in this, so slowly gonna bring it up a little bit. This brush is not a fancy brush. This comes from Amazon, and I use these quite frequently when I'm filming. I got a whole set of these brushes from Amazon. This was years ago, but I prefer them to some of my more expensive brushes, and it was like 14 of them for 25 bucks, and I use them all the time. And then for my eyeliner, which I am going to do off camera, this is Smashbox. This is the Always On liquid eyeliner, that's what it's called, and it is in black. I don't know, I find this tip to be a little bit flimsy, and I think if I try to do it one-handed while holding a mirror, I'm gonna get it all over the place, so I need some concentration. I do like how this wears throughout the day, but I don't reach for it just because it is a little bit harder for me to use. It actually wasn't as bad as I remembered, like with it being flimsy, but it has developed one of those little things on the end of it where the felt parts had started to come up a little bit. That made it a little bit difficult, and I didn't feel like getting scissors or anything to take it off. And it has dried out some, which I have had this probably about a year, so I can expect that to happen. And then for my inner rim, I'm gonna use this. This is from Modster. Oops, I lied. The company is called Ardency Inn. I got this from Birchbox a long time ago. I don't remember any of my thoughts or feelings about it. And I believe Ardency Inn is cruelty-free, but if not, I will have them marked with an X below. And then for mascara, again, I don't have a ton of mascaras that I never reach for because they dry out, so I try to use them up. But this one is Cannonball. It's waterproof from Urban Decay. I don't think it's that old. Maybe a year and a half. I don't know. I think I've had it for a little while. We'll see how dry it is. I'm not doing lashes today. Feels fine. Doesn't feel like it's too dry. I guess I've kept the lid on pretty tight. I don't think it's doing anything miraculous for my lashes, but it doesn't feel too dry. Doesn't look bad, isn't too clumpy, and I think if you need a waterproof mascara that this would not be a bad option. I do apologize, there is mowing going on outside. Ooh, just poked myself on the eye. There is mowing going on outside, but we are almost done, so hopefully I can avoid talking over it. I actually think that makes my lashes look pretty long, so I am happy with this. Maybe I will reach for it more often. For a highlight, I have this from Becca. This is the Lilac Geode highlighter. It's very pretty, but I never reach for it because it's lilac and I don't always have a use for a purple highlighter. And I think I'm going to use this on my inner corner too, just to pull everything together, because I also have a purpley mauvey kind of lipstick. I remember having to have this when it came out, and yeah, I never reached for it. I think that's important to remember when you're buying something, just the longevity of it. How often will you actually use it versus wanting something for the packaging or because it's a new launch. And for lips, I have this from Jeffree Star. This is the Androgyny Bullet Lipstick. I love his liquid lipstick formula, and I have so many of them. This is the only actual bullet shaped lipstick I have, and from what I remember, it's a little bit drying, so I don't reach for it very often, but the color is really cool in here. I think it's kind of like a mauve. It's very drying. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of gloss. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills as well. This is the Toffee Lip Gloss. I just want to see... I'm just going to dab it on because I don't want it to take over this a little bit. I just want a little bit of glossiness. I think this was probably a point perk or something. I've never reached for it. Not quite as glossy as I wanted it to be. It's a little bit more pigmented than I thought. I forgot to do an inner corner highlight, so I'm doing that now with the Lilac Geode. And then just to set it all together, I have All Star from Colourpop. This is their face setting spray. I remember not liking the smell of this. It reminds me of some kind of like baby product, like baby shampoo or soap. I don't know, I don't really like it. Ugh. And here's the completed look, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. The mowing is getting so loud, so I do apologize, but here's the completed look. As far as finding any hidden treasures, I don't think I did, sadly. Nothing in this really screamed out to me, reach for me more. I didn't have that. I absolutely hate the way that my base looks, my foundation, and my concealer. The foundation isn't that bad. I just feel like it looks a little bit patchy in some areas, but I did mix some things together. And then the BH concealer, it's awful. I do not like it on my under eyes at all. It makes them look very dry, very wrinkly. There's definitely some accentuation of lines. Does not look good at all. The eyeshadows I think all performed fine, and maybe I'll reach for them a little bit more, but probably not because I have my favorites. Brows are just okay. Everything else, I did like that Tarte palette. That one I didn't remember liking the bronzer in, so maybe I will reach for that one a little bit more. And the Too Faced blush, I already know I like. It just kind of got lost in the collection. But yeah, I enjoyed filming today's video. I bet you never thought you would see me in blue eyeshadow. It looks so crazy to me. It's been a long time since I've worn blue eyeshadow, but I think I actually kind of like it. It's not bad. I probably won't do it again anytime soon. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.